This Thursday morning edition of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live, brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off tons and tons of cards. And with our promo code Sports Addict, not only do you get 10% off of regular priced items, but sales items as well. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing, whatever you want, they got it. So head over to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Tell them we sent you with the promo code Sports Addict for 10% off. That's the number one. STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins. Can't relax. Original. I am not the same as these.
Welcome to Pucks Across Borders on a Thursday morning. Game 1 preview of the Oilers and the Stars on Sports Addict Live, brought to you by First Round Collectibles. I am Mark Sauter, and with me, as always, you read his gambling picks on winners and whiners. You read his work on Give Me Sport. Andre, how you feeling on a Thursday, bro? It's just game 1. I told you this would happen. It's no big deal. I still think they win the series. Everything's fine. How you doing on a Thursday?
I'm doing pretty well. I think you just want to sneak in, and I told you so there, which you earned. That was valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to get into it, obviously, but it happens. It is what it is.
I mean, listen, I have a wonderful marriage in which I am wrong more often than not. So whenever I'm right in any other walk of life, I just I need it. You know what I mean? I need it. So let's just get right into it, man. There have been a few notes around the league, some coaching changes, some coaching hires in LA, in New Jersey. However, we're going to wait for our boy John. He is off today. He'll be back with us tomorrow. We'll wait for him to break down those coaching hires, since specifically one of them has to do with with his team. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. We haven't forgotten about it, but we got a game 1 to break down. I thought that the Rangers would lose simply because I thought the style of play was much different than anything that they've encountered so far this postseason. Is that what you saw last night, or was there something else that kind of sunk your boys? Besides that brutal, my heart broke for Lafreniere, man. Like, that was tough. Like, a couple minutes left, your team's pushing. That's a tough break. But what did you see in that game last night?
Yeah, for me, it was mostly the style difference. Most teams, when you face them, you have that extra little bit of space. They're not going to close the gap, look for the hit, the poke check, whatever. They're just going to sag off a little bit, seed it, try to deflect the puck, poke away a pass, see what happens. The Panthers, they're coming at you all 200 feet. And it's an adjustment. And there were stretches where the Rangers just looked uncomfortable with it, didn't know what to do. And when you're playing the Panthers, which is weird. We played the Panthers 3 times this year. It's not like it's new. But when you play Florida, you have to be sharp. You have to know where you're going to pass it next. Like, before you even get the puck, you have to know where the hit's going to come from so you can protect yourself. And it just seems like they were a tick behind for stretches of that game. And there seemed like there were stretches where they were perfectly fine. So it'll be about consistency, especially in the defensive zone. Getting out of the defensive zone is a massive problem for a lot of last night. And that's what really sunk the ship and made it hard to generate consistent offense the first, the first period, the second half of the second period, stretches that third period. So, I mean, there were other things. There were plenty of positives for the Rangers too. Um, Effectively only allowed one goal, didn't really allow that many dangerous chances. It wasn't really like a offensive showcase by either team. Part of
No.
that might have to do with the ice, but I'm not gonna say low event, but not really like a heart racing game as far as like odd man rushes, great like crazy looks. It was just more of the Panthers got their one, and then they had all the pressure, or they had the pressure for most of the game. So it was really hard for the Rangers to find that equalizer. When the Rangers had those chances, they couldn't get that extra little bit of puck luck you sometimes need. And then, Igor tries to play a puck he probably shouldn't. Lafreniere tries to poke away a puck he probably shouldn't. Now it's 2-0. It's effective. But if you're going to get shut out, at least make it, like 3-0. Don't make it 1-0. So
Well,
it could be worse.
I mean, listen, like I thought, yeah, like it's kind of your classic game one, feeling each other out type of game. I thought that the Panthers did carry the pace for a lot of it, but I mean, Bob was brilliant when he had to be last night. And I think this is what we're gonna see, like which goaltender can just make that one extra save. And then which way do the bounces break? Like you're 100% right, man. Like before that 2-0 goal, the building was on fire. Like Madison Square Garden was going crazy, cheering on their guys. The Rangers were pushing hard, wave after wave after wave. Bobrovsky just kept making saves. And then you just get that bounce, like you said, man. Igor gets a little cocky on that, playing the puck a little bit too quickly. And then, like I said, man, with Lafreniere, like that's a tough break, dude. And you could just see it all over his face. Like we had it, we were close, and then I effectively just shut the door on this game. I don't think there's too much to take away from it necessarily. I do think that, like, listen, I've been saying it all year long. Like the Florida Panthers, they just play playoff hockey all the time. So when you play them in the playoffs, they're already where you have to be, right? So if you're not like already there, you're just automatically behind the 8 ball. I do think the Rangers bounce back. I do think they win this series. But I always kind of thought that last night was going to be a tough adjustment for them. Well, look who it is. Tough guy. John, how you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it today, but I got your text saying you guys were starting later. So, yeah, I had to drive through a flood to make it to this show. It may not look like it in my background, but it was pretty bad weather this morning.
Well, I was just going to say, man, I know that your tanning bed appointment was at like 8:45, so I appreciate you rushing back. You look great. It's good to see you, man. Thank you.
Glad I made it.
Well, we're just recapping that game last night before we move on to the game one preview. And I said at the beginning of the show, all the coaching hires, we're going to talk about that tomorrow because you're not here. But even though you are here now, we're still going to talk about it tomorrow because this is where we are now. What'd you see in that game last night, man?
From last night's game, I felt like the Panthers were just a better team. It seemed like they were handling the Rangers basically from start to finish, but yet the Rangers did have their chances. Like, don't get me wrong. They probably had a handful of good opportunities to score a goal. There was one notable post in the first period, and the third period they had like two straight chances where I felt like they should have came up with a goal there. So I felt like the Panthers were without a doubt the better team last night, but the Rangers definitely did not take advantage of the opportunities they had. And late in the game, they just collapsed. Like in the last 5 minutes, it was a 1-0 game for a long time. Then they gave up that unfortunate goal that I don't remember who the defenseman was for the Rangers, but it hit off his stick. And then, of course, the empty net goal. So the Rangers kind of just couldn't hold it together in the last 5 minutes. They did a good job keeping themselves in the game despite clearly getting outplayed, but it just wasn't enough. They needed to take advantage of their chances in that situation. And Florida and Bobrovsky, I give him a lot of credit. He had a great night too, because the Rangers, like I said, the Rangers definitely had their chances, and he closed the door on most of them.
Well, that brings up a good point because it wasn't a defenseman; it was Alex Lafreniere, and
gotcha.
And that actually brings up a good point that I didn't even think about. And I don't know, to break down the whole play, I'd have to watch the whole thing over again. But that came off a really bad line change, and somehow he's the last line of defense before Igor. Like, that should never happen. That's just a tough all-around break. And you, like I already said, you can see it on his face. I felt so bad for the kid, but it's only 1-0. It's only game one. I believe the Rangers will bounce back. Whether they win the next game or not, I'm not sure, but I do think that they come back and they win this series. There's another game one, the Western Conference, starting tonight. The Edmonton Oilers are in Dallas to play the Stars in game one of their battle. Let me just bring this up here. The Edmonton Oilers. Is that right?
Edmonton.
No, I have Edmonton. Yeah, so Edmonton is playing Edmonton. We're going to need a few minutes to break that down. All right. The Edmonton Oilers are plus 110. Dallas Stars minus 130. The over is 6. Oh, that uncomfortable 6 with these two teams. Minus 112. The under is minus 108. Plus 1.5 for the Oilers is minus 238. Minus 1.5 for the Stars. Plus 195. Andre, let's start with you, man. What do you see in this game tonight?
Not just this game, but in conference finals, the 4 teams left. 3 of them I feel like are complete teams. Not the same process per se, but from goalies to defensemen to forwards, you say, oh, like they're good. They're good. Then there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb, and it is the Edmonton Oilers. That back end. It's held up so far. I mean, the Kings, I'm not sure how much of a test they really were. The Canucks had plenty of issues. Personnel-wise, people showing up or not showing up, even if they were playing in the game, we know what I'm talking about. And then just execution later in that series. Dallas, I don't think any of those are going to be a problem. They're going to take advantage of whoever's in that. Was it Nurse and Cece who were playing just god-awful? This is,
yeah.
I know it's a conference finals, but I don't think this is going to be a competitive series. Maybe I'll be wrong. They do still have some of the best players in the world that can easily match anybody goal for goal there, right? But I think Dallas has enough in the back six in net or in that blue crease with Oettinger where they could shut them down. We did talk about the fact that Edmonton's power play was 1 for 12 against the Stars in the regular season. So game one, going to take the Stars plus 115 on that 60-minute line. I'm going to take the over 6 goals at minus 112. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Stars won this by multiple goals. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, it's really interesting because, like, the 3 of us watch every single game, every single night. We watch not just the Canadian teams or not just our favorite teams, but we watch the whole league the best we can every single night. And in Canada, like, I'm hearing like a lot of either Stars in 7, Oilers in 7. I'm hearing a lot of just really high praise for the Edmonton Oilers. And like, I don't know if it's just a Canadian market, if these people just watch a lot of Edmonton Oilers and they see things that I don't, or they don't watch enough of the other teams and don't see things that I see. I have no idea. I just don't understand how you can watch the first two series for the Oilers and then watch the first two series of the Stars and think that the Oilers are going to be able to beat this team. The only thing maybe we can talk ourselves into the point that Connor McDavid, despite having 21 points, he still hasn't really showed up yet. Is he hurt? What's his deal? We don't really know. And the fact that the Stars had to play the defending Stanley Cup champions and the defending Stanley Cup champions of 2 years ago to get here. Maybe that beat them up. They're tired. You can kind of rest on those things. What's really interesting for me for this game specifically tonight is the Dallas Stars in the first two games against the Vegas Golden Knights, they allowed 4 goals and then 3 goals. And then they never allowed more than 2 goals for the rest of the series. Against the Colorado Avalanche, they allowed 4 goals and then 3 goals, and then allowed 1 goal, 5 goals, and then 1 goal. Defensively and goaltending wise, they're starting off these series a little bit slow. They're 1-3 in the in game 1 and 2 combined, like for both series. They're 1-3, and they've allowed 14 goals. That's a trend. I wonder if tonight we kind of see that. A kind of run and gun, really fast, high scoring game. On the Edmonton Oilers side of things, in game 1 and 2 against the Kings, they scored 7 goals and 4 goals, and they allowed they allowed 4 goals and 5 goals in those first 2 games against the Kings. In the first 2 games against the Canucks, they scored 4 goals, and then allowed 5 goals and 3 goals. My point is, both of these two teams in both of the first 2 rounds, in the first 2 games, scored and allowed a bunch of goals, which I'm going to lean to the over. I think that trend continues. And what we've seen in this postseason last night, like kind of the exception, is kind of barn burners for the first 2 games, and then as they get to know each other, the series kind of tightens up. And I think that's what we're going to see tonight, unless otherwise, like the odds of this being a sweep it's very unlikely. However, until I see something different, I'll be picking the Dallas Stars until I'm led to feel differently. I just think the depth is huge on forward and defense. The goaltending disparity, like if the Dallas Stars can just figure out, shoot more than 20 pucks at this guy, and you're going to score goals. Like the Vancouver Canucks just could not get it through the fact that if you shoot, you'll score against Skinner. It's just kind of the way that it is. The one disparity that we talked about in the preview for this series that I'm really interested in seeing moving forward is the special teams. Because the special teams disparity as far as the postseason goes is crazy. Like in the regular season, the Dallas Stars were top 10 in special teams, both power play and penalty kill. The Oilers had the 4th best power play in the NHL in the regular season, but their penalty kill was middle of the pack. Well, now that it's the postseason, the Edmonton power play and penalty kill is number 1 in the league. And Dallas's power play is pretty good, 29% exactly, fourth overall, but their penalty kill has been a disaster. John, you broke that down for us a couple of days ago. So if the Oilers are going to have an edge, it's in the special teams. And I'm really interested to see how that is moving forward. So I'm going to take the over and I'm going to take Dallas. But I do think that special teams, that's that door that's open just a crack, that if the Oilers can just fling that thing open, we could see a different series than we expect. John, what do you expect tonight?
I agree about the special teams. That'll probably be the biggest key, not just tonight, but throughout the whole series. I think without that, Edmonton doesn't stand a chance in this series. I want to touch on the coverage / bias you were talking about earlier with the Oilers. It's an interesting point you make because you can verify this if because I'm just speaking from an American side here. I'd imagine in Canada in general, hockey is probably Canada centric when it comes to coverage, especially this time of year. If a team in the country is still in it at this point, so I'm assuming most hockey fans in Canada pay a lot more attention to the Oilers than they do the Stars. And it's not that much different here, except it gets even more local. In the New Jersey, New York area, people basically pay attention to the Rangers and have no idea other hockey is even being played. You're not going to get Western Conference Finals coverage on the New York radio shows, put it that way. So I definitely understand that from the Canada side of things, why people may underestimate the Stars. So with that in mind, I think the three of us have a better judgment on this since we've been paying attention to these teams a little more balance. I haven't really changed my opinion from Tuesday's show. As far as tonight goes, it's hard. It's hard for me to really go off of what I said before. If Edmonton doesn't get enough power play opportunities, I don't think they win. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot else to say there, but I think Skinner's going to be a little rattled starting this series. He's taken a few days off now. Admittedly, he did okay in the last two games of the Vancouver series, at least compared to the first three games where he was basically not even an NHL goalie in those games. So at least he's getting into an NHL level again. That's good news for Edmonton, I guess. But I still like Ottinger. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. I like him, especially in a game one where both teams are trying to feel each other out more. I think I would give the edge to Dallas here tonight. What I'm trying to decide is if I like them enough to recommend a puck line for our viewers here. I think at the very least I would take a 60-minute line. I feel like I'm confident Dallas can win this in regulation. The over-under is interesting as well because it's rather high. But 6 or 6. I don't see the DraftKings one here, but
What the total?
Yeah,
is 6.
Okay. Yeah. The site I'm using, that they have a weird thing for DraftKings, but anyway, at 6, I feel okay about taking an under bet there because I feel
Really?
I feel like at worst this is gonna be even, like a push. I don't know. I kind of trust Ottinger to hold them and the Dallas defense for that matter. Because like I said, I think they're still trying to feel each other out. And I don't think that's an advantage for Edmonton. I think what Novak did well with Vancouver, against Vancouver, I should say, is I think he did well making adjustments live in the series. So I think he needs a game. This is just my take, at least. I think he needs a game to see what he has to do to beat Dallas or have a chance to beat Dallas. So I very much think this is a feel-out game, and I would give that advantage to Dallas under those circumstances. So give me the Dallas 60-minute line. I think that's my more confident play. If you want to bet a total side, I'd lean towards the under.
Wow, I'm surprised by that.
I don't think Edmonton's scoring that much tonight. That's really why.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see what happens. I like the 60-minute play. I think the puck line that you mentioned, Andre, the only thing that makes me leery of the puck line, I think it's a good play, and I think plus 195, like those odds are tremendous. Specifically with everything that we've talked about. What I'm a little nervous about is just like, I feel like I'm so confident about the Dallas Stars that I need a game. Like I need a game just to see like if it is what I think it will be, but it'll be interesting to watch moving forward. That game is at 8:30, and I cannot wait. Head over to a little shameless plug. Head over to totalapex.com and check out my game one and my series preview for this round. Gotta get those clicks, man. I gotta get those clicks. All right. Moving on to our best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Right now with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off every sports card in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing, whatever you want, they got it. They have an ongoing sale, like I said, up to 50% off. And with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off of regular priced and sales priced items. FirstRoundCollectibles.com. That's the number one. STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Andre, what's your best bet, bro?
Yeah, a lot of good ones. I'm going to go with one a little against the grain. Odds aren't the greatest, but fits into a parlay nicely since we're doing an SGP. And that's Stuart Skinner over 2.5 goals against. I just don't see a possibility or where he starts in the Stars will score at least 3 goals. So at least not against him.
Yeah, that's a really good bet. What are the odds on that, you said?
Minus 150.
Yeah, that's good for a parlay. I like that a lot. John, what about you, man? What do you see here?
I think I'm just going to keep this straight out. Dallas 60-minute line. I really like that tonight. Like I said, I think Millblock is going to have to field this series out to make the proper adjustments for Edmonton. So with that in mind, plus the goaltender matchups tonight, I like the Stars to wrap this up in regulation.
Love it. So here's the thing. I've been on this bet all playoffs long. If you've watched this show at all, you probably know where I'm going. These guys definitely know where I am going. Over the last few, let me just pull this up. Over the last little bit, though, it hasn't been hitting for us. He scored 2 goals in Game 4 against Colorado. He scored a goal in Game 1 against Colorado. He scored a bunch in the series against Vegas, but only 3 goals in his last 6 games. But nevertheless, he hasn't scored in a while, which in the gambling world means he's due. Wyatt Johnston, plus 180 to score a goal tonight. I think he comes out firing. You watch the games, he's been their most impactful player, points or not. He's been their most impactful forward by a mile for me anyway. So give me Wyatt Johnston plus 180.
I was waiting for it. It's been a while.
Yep.
So, John, I did have to substitute 60-minute line for just the regular for now. For the sake of the parlay.
For same game. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not available yet. But the 60-minute line is plus 115. For those interested in, I think we all thought that was a good bet.
Yep.
We all picked the Stars. Regardless, our same game parlay is plus 300 odds. Stuart Skinner over 2.5 goals against, Stars money line, and Wyatt Johnson anytime goal scorer.
What's the final odd? I don't know if I just blacked out or something. All right.
It's plus 300.
Oh, true. I don't know. I feel like I just went into outer space there for a minute. All right. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, great show. John, good to have you here, man. Didn't expect you on today. I'm glad to see you. You're looking great. Like I said, that tanning bed just doing great things for you. And I don't know why I'm sticking with that joke, but it's funny to me. And all right, enjoy the games tonight, whether you're watching live or throughout the day. We appreciate you. Shout out to firstroundcollectibles.com. Like we've said all show long, with our promo code Sports Addict, you get 10% off regular price and sales price items. Go there, tell them we sent you. Use promo code Sports Addict. Firstroundcollectibles.com. Enjoy the games tonight. Gamble wisely, and let's make some money. And double it on the Rangers winning tomorrow, Andre. That's how we do it. We appreciate you guys. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.